Thank you, friends. Shalom. Greetings to you all. I hope everybody had a marvelous New Year. You know, friends, a New Year brings new opportunity. So look for the new opportunities in your life. And of course, we get to celebrate New Year's twice. You know, it's like a winter solstice season, a miracle do-over. So if your Rosh Hashanah New Year wishes have not quite worked out yet, well, do it again. You know, there is a 13th century poem by Abraham Hazan Girondi that has a great philosophy in it where it says, let the year end with all its curses. Let the new year begin with all its blessings. Last year was a strange year, but it's over. And a new one has begun, and I wish blessings for everyone for the year ahead. Yehi Ratzon Milfenecha Adonai Eloheinu Sheyatema Oivenu V'Sonenu V'Chol Mavakshe Ra'atenu. May it be your will, O Lord our God, that this new year be a peaceful year for us and for all the world. May it be your will, O Lord our God, that we be blessed with all we need in the new year. May it be your will, O Lord our God, that we be blessed with happiness. May the new year be filled with an abundance of blessings. May the new year be filled with love and peace, and may the new year be a good year for us all. Now, I'm happy to be home from my travels, and I'm thrilled at the wonderful people I had a chance to meet and to help and to share with. And in the spirit of sharing, let us once again take a quick moment so that we can be thankful for all the miracles of our lives, our health, our happiness, our families and friends, and the great love that envelops us and everyone we know. And let us share that with those in need and send out energy to heal all of those in need of healing. And when we, at this time of hope, of miracles, of light, sending goodwill, love, peace, thanks. It's such an easy thing to do. To transmit energy to everybody you know in need. For Phil, for Richard, for Marvin, for me. So think of those in need. Call out healing for them. The kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love you all send out circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you. Avotenu Makor Bracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all, everywhere the world over, have our spirits renewed. Now this week, we have the Bible's great unveiling, Vayagish, and he went over. And once again, it's a title that has nothing to do with the power of what is coming. Because this week, Joseph will let his brothers know who he is. And he is not anyone that they had known. He's changed. Genesis 45:1. And Joseph was not able to restrain himself in front of everyone who was standing by him. And he called, take everyone out from my presence. And not a man stood with him. Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept out loud, and Egypt heard, and Pharaoh's house heard. Now, this is actually the third time Joseph has wept with his brothers. But this time, the lamentation is so loud that it's heard all the way to Pharaoh's house. Just imagine, how incredible an emotional outbreak this must have been for Joseph. Too many teardrops for one heart. to be cried. Too many tears for one heart to carry on. You're gonna cry 96 tears. You're gonna cry 96 tears. I love that song, 1966, 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians. And can you imagine his brothers when he turns and says, Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. Now, if that is not powerful enough, he adds, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold to Egypt. And at that they were terrified. But it doesn't stop there. He goes on. Genesis 45:5. And now, don't be sad. Let there be no anger in your eyes because you sold me here. Because God sent me before you to preserve life. Look at the growth of this young narcissist. He's become a man of faith who understood there was a greater reason for the events of his life. He did not play the victim or the martyr. He was acting out his preordained destiny. He has become a wise, sensitive man. He saw the unfolding of events that led him here and what he has become. That's the possible savior, not just of his family and a belief system, but perhaps of the whole world. And maybe it's because he's been away from the fear of his family that he's grown and learned and blossomed. Now, 2 years of the 7 years of famine have now passed, and so Joseph's around 39 or 40 when he makes his confession. And he continues, Genesis 45:7. And God sent me ahead of you to provide a remnant for you in the earth and to keep you alive. He seems to have further information. He seems to know what God's intent was and what the ramifications of the famine actually are. Genesis 45:8. It wasn't you who sent me here, but God. And he made me into a father to Pharaoh, and a lord to all his house, and a ruler in all the land of Egypt. Now, friends, that is actually one of the most interesting, yet least discussed sentences in the Torah. And there's incredible historical controversy surrounding this. And there's a great likelihood this may very well be true. But you'll not find it written about other than in historical papers. It's been suggested, and it's fairly recent suggestions, of course, that he was the Egyptian courtier Yuya, a man believed to be foreign, who was married to a noble woman, Tuyu, and whose daughter Tai becomes the wife of the great pharaoh Amenhotep III. And that would make Joseph a father to Pharaoh. But that's another story. Anyhow, Joseph tells his brothers to go get their father, to go to Jacob and bring him down to Egypt in order to survive so that they can be saved. He lavishes them with gifts and food, and of course, they go and they tell their father, but Jacob does not believe the news at first. He actually collapses at hearing it. It's like the only one he really loved, of course, was Joseph. But he ultimately packs everything up and begins the process of heading to Egypt. And God appears to him at Beersheba, where his dream actually had taken place. Genesis 46:2. And God said to Israel in a night vision, and he said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, I am here. Well, night visions are, of course, dreams. And here we have the double name calling, life-altering moment. And notice, it says, God said to Israel. And even though he's talking to Israel, he called him by the name Jacob. Now, we talked to that last time, how Jacob's name change is different than all of the others. Now, I wonder what that means about the naming conventions, and what God says is actually quite fascinating here. Genesis 46:4. Fear not to go down to Egypt. I myself, and no key, shall go down with you to Egypt, and I myself shall also bring you up. Fear not. Jacob's chief emotion, of course, is fear. It has ruled his whole life, and once again, God is telling him there is no need for it. Fear not. And it's God saying it is him, God, taking them down to Egypt, and he will bring them up when the time is right. And of course, the time is right during the time of Moses. Now maybe that is why here he is Jacob, not Israel. He is still gripped by fear. After all, when asked about his life by Pharaoh, he says, "Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life." It's a pretty untrue statement. Now, this is a pretty amazing statement from someone who has achieved everything he aspired to achieve. The birthright, the blessing, marriage with his beloved Rachel, children, and wealth. But one measure of the profound moral realism of the story is that although he gets everything he wanted, it's not in the way he would have wanted. His displacement of Esau was at the cost of his living his entire life in fear. Now, his is a story with a happy ending that withholds any simple feeling of happiness at the end. If it was not a biblical story, you could see Rod Serling having written it. Now, this is a man who lived his whole life in fear. It dictated everything. Do not live your lives in fear, my friends. Do not let it dictate to you. Instead, follow the advice of Tom Petty. Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down. Stand your ground. Do not back down. Do not succumb to fear. People settle in Egypt, and over the next few years, Joseph acquires all the silver in the land from the people needing to buy food, and then all the livestock, and then all the land of Egypt, all for Pharaoh. And he allows the people to keep 4/5 of their annual harvest and give Pharaoh 1/5, the 20% flat tax. And so all the property, except that of the priests, they're separate, and 20% of the harvest is Pharaoh's. But the people are alive. Now the people had come to Joseph and said, "And we, with our farmland, will be slaves to Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die." Is this where the thought of the people as slaves in Egypt actually came from? Perhaps. The subordination of the Egyptian peasantry to the central government with the 20% flat tax on agriculture was actually a known fact. The next week, we'll see the end of Genesis when Joseph forgives his brothers. And after that, things are really going to change. The world is sacred, and so is everything in it, especially gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy your journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. Share your holiness with everybody. Bless you all. Now have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace and healing for you to honor the people of your life, honor the journey you're on, and honor yourself. And friends, keep your eyes open to what you may not be seeing, and keep your ears open and listen to the world around you. Remember, this is an organic book. The lessons, the laws, the ethics, the rituals. It may change a little with the times. It's how it stays current, relevant, new, meaningful, and continues to provide us with the insight, with the answers after all these years. Remember, we do set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You do have the knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you have wronged. Ask for forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. And forgive those who have hurt you. Be forgiving. Be compassionate. Do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is in sight. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading your holiness. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It is always in front of you. Remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind, despising none, defrauding none, hating none, cherishing all, honoring every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all peoples know peace in this year, and may we nurture kindness and love everywhere. That's what we really want to have. When the rain is blowing in your face, and the whole world is on your case, would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When evening shadows and the stars appear, there is no one there to dry your tears. I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. Friends, who hasn't felt the whole world on their case? The 3 times Joseph broke down in tears, there was nobody there to dry his face. Those are the times we need love, not fear. Be there for someone, because someone is there for you, whether you know it or not. Well, thank you all for joining me, for participating, for sharing your lives, your love, your time with me. I'm honored. Happy New Year, my friends. I love you all. I look forward to keeping you all in my hearts with me and seeing you all next week. Be well until then. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.